This is Jets at Noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Happy Monday, all. Jim Toth, how are you doing? How was your weekend there? Buddy old pal of mine.
Monday. This is the week where it all begins. The Jip rocking shall come. I mean, Winnipeg Jets training. I mean, the Bears will find. Let's focus on the.
Stop.
One of these items is true.
Stop.
And the other two are not. The Bears will get a win. The Jip rocking will begin. Or the Jets training camp will kick off. One of those three statements are about to happen. So it's good.
It might be the latter. It might be the latter.
I do need a ladder. I do need to get a ladder.
Jets and Noon is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line to win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method. 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program as we're coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Boston Pizza, where kids eat free all September long. Conditions apply. Lots to get to on the show. But before we get anywhere, we're going to talk about, of course, the 2025 Prospect Showdown. I want to read a text. And this was for Hal. Of course, if you're listening on the podcast or online, Hal Anderson does the show right before us here on 680 CJOB. And Alan sent this text during Hal's show. And he said, "Hi, Hal." So I'll just insert Cam and Jim. Hi, Cam and Jim. As I know, Alan is an often texter on Jets.
Hal's got so many friends we could steal some of them.
Yeah. Alan says, "On this day in hockey history, September 15th, 1987, that was before I was even a gleam in my father's eye, Jim Toth, 38 years ago. I was not alive for this, is what I'm trying to say. Team Canada triumphed over the Soviet Union 6-5 in a heart-pounding Game 3 of the 1987 Canada Cup Final. With just a 1:26 left in the third period, Mario Lemieux netted the game winner off a brilliant feed from tournament MVP Wayne Gretzky. The play began with a clutch faceoff win by Dale Hawerchuk, whose subtle but vital contribution helped set the stage for one of hockey's most iconic goals."
I was alive for that.
Yeah.
But I was really, really young. But I remember that was one of the first times I experienced the passion for hockey.
Yeah.
Not me personally, but just seeing people watching it in my house, my parents, and then me going, "Oh, this is..."
You were like, what, 15 or something like that?
I was 38.
It's in 87, yeah. Yeah.
No, in 87. No, I wasn't really young. Sorry, I'm talking about the 70s. 87.
Yeah, you're talking about the Summit Series in 77.
I was grade 9.
Okay. No, because Star Wars isn't the only thing that came out in 77, Jim.
Yes, that's what I'm mistaking this for. I apologize. The Canada Cup, yeah. Because I remember watching it and getting the fever.
You don't remember Mario Lemieux and Dale Hawerchuk at the Summit Series with Wayne Gretzky?
No, I totally remember
I'm Joe. I'm just teasing you.
And I love the story about how Hawerchuk was like, you want me to take this? Gretzky and Lemieux are like, "Oh, you got to take this." And we're like, I don't want to. I have to take this. But then he won it and got it out. I'm sorry, I was confusing my series with Canada hockey, but that was to the point of the time of, like, up until that point I was like NHL, or there was a WHL team in my hometown. But that was the first time I'm like, this was because that was the first big experience for Canadian hockey for my generation, other than like the 72 or
mine for sure.
81 Lake Placid stuff, or 80 Lake Placid stuff.
See, I remember Salt Lake City. I remember that. But it wasn't anywhere close to like Vancouver for like.
See, Salt Lake City, I was an adult living in BC, and I'd just been in a car accident. And I remember my furniture hadn't arrived yet, and I literally had cracked ribs.
Oh my God.
And I was sitting on lawn chairs watching in my 1-bedroom apartment with a buddy from work. And we had some other people come over. Some nice ladies brought me a pie.
Wow.
So I was
eating. Was it a good pie?
Pecan.
Wow.
Put a little ice cream on it.
Don't
warm it up a bit.
Hey, I'm a happy camper.
Forget about it.
Yeah, that's right.
But I remember like sitting on, we had 2 lawn chairs.
Yeah.
And watching it, eating pie, and just like losing our minds that Canada won this again. Because up until Salt Lake, it was 87 for me.
Well, yeah, because there was the long period where there was no Olympics.
None.
Right? And then, of course, 2010 and the golden goal, Sidney Crosby. That was just incredible. But, the Four Nations was pretty big. I think for the generation that, again, when they missed the last few Olympics. I have to think that the Four Nations face off, that whole series, those 2 games against the Americans. I mean, that doesn't reach Olympic level to me, particularly 2010. But man, that was something else.
So you bring up a great point, because the Four Nations, I think, caught us all off guard. If there's
Absolutely.
anybody out there
Absolutely.
who can text the show and say, "I honestly thought it would be that good," Please do so. And I'll give you credit because I just think, so having gone through the 87, having gone through some World Junior Epic, tournaments, then Nagano for me, I remember watching that right out of college in 94 and stuff. And then, the Salt Lake City and all of that. Then you got to a point where and then Four Nations rolled around. I'm like, well, it's not going to be this good. It's just not, right?
Yeah.
Sochi was unbelievable. What did Carey Price have a 0.00 goals against average?
Canada was shut it defensively down. Unbeatable.
So when Four Nations rolled around, I'm like, well, this is going to be okay, but is it going to be like an all-star game? I'm not. And then it was as good as the Olympics. Mm-hmm. It just really shocked me how good a hockey that was.
So, and thanks so much for that text, Alan, who then corrected and said, hi, Cam and Jim, sent us the exact same text, but I appreciate that, Alan. 204-780-6868. Of course, NHL training camp for the Winnipeg Jets begins officially on Thursday. Of course, there's informal skates, but we'll be down there on Thursday. And then I will be there as well, live, watching practice and stuff like that, and I'm gonna wire into the show on Friday. So I'm gonna be down there Thursday, Friday, and Jim, I think we have a radiothon coming up on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So I think you're going to be taking part in that. The Adult and Teen Challenge radiothon is coming up on Friday. So, but I will be down. I'll be down at Hockey for All Center for training camp. But things kind of got in. We're talking about informal skates. An informal start to training camp was the 2025 Prospect Showdown. And as I'm going to be, this is the debut of this, but it's going to be going all throughout training camp. Let's fire this off. This is another emergency preseason overreaction.
This is that's subtle. You need a better entrance than this.
No. This is an emergency preseason overreaction here on Jets at Noon. The Jets win both the games against in Montreal at the 2025 Prospect Showdown. I need to have that trail off a little bit better, don't you think?
I think you need a little bit more.
Yeah, it's not big enough. It needs to be bigger.
It's not big enough.
But the Jets win both games.
You have to understand the size of the news you're talking about.
Okay, you're right. It needs to be more. Okay, I'm going to change it. I'm going to get it bigger. But let's start this again. So let's just imagine this is a lot bigger. The Winnipeg Jets absolutely trouncing their opponents. No, they actually won both games very, very tight. Late win by Danny Zhilkin against Montreal on Saturday, and then a overtime win over the Senators 3-2. But listen, the Jets went there to win 2 games, and they won 2 games.
Yeah.
And there was some players who stood out for good reasons. And there was a lot more positives to take away from this quick little 2-game swing than the negatives, that's for sure. Danny Zhilkin scored twice. Of course, the game winner, 25 seconds left in that one, in a sold-out barn at the Bell Center as Ivan Demidov pandemonium will start to sweep over Habs Nation. And so I'm now putting a moratorium. Unless the Jets are playing the Habs, I'm not talking about. I don't care if Demidov comes off and he scores 100 points his rookie season. I'm not talking about him.
I do because I have him as a rookie keeper in my fantasy.
Oh, okay.
I hope it's even more reason. Scores 200 points.
It's even more reason to talk about him.
We won't be following him daily on this program. Yeah.
No. What's one of the reasons? What's one of the rules of sports radio? Jim, never talk about your fantasy team.
Nobody exactly else cares but you. Most days I don't.
Also set up the OT winner. He's got 2 assists. He's only played 97 games over his first 2 years with the Manitoba Moose. He was a 3rd-round draft pick in 2022, and he's only had 17 points. But he's been dealing with a bunch of injuries, and so this is great. He needs to put together a lot more than this. But it's promising, and he just needs to stay healthy. And if he can produce like this, he's not going to produce like this. But if he, comes out of the season in the AHL and he gets 60, 65 points, I think everyone's going to be very happy with where his game is. He's going to get another contract too.
You don't have to look too far to just look back and see, like, Brad Lambert didn't have to go to this Prospects games in Penticton.
Yeah.
And he went anyway, and it really propelled him into having a really good training camp with the Jets. Now, he didn't have the best season points-wise in the Moose. The Moose didn't have a good season overall. But it's a boost of confidence, right? Like, it doesn't have to be more than that. It doesn't have to be like, oh, this is what he's going to do this year. It just means you're starting off on a great foot. The other guy, Cam, from this weekend is Kobe Barlow.
Yeah.
Kobe Barlow has been talked about, as a high-end great draft pick, and then he had a rough start in junior, and then he got traded this year. And where's he at the last two prospects?
He had a great playoffs.
Yeah, the last two rookie. And then he had a great playoffs. And then he came and sat down with us, and he's turning pro, right? And he's looking forward to it. And he talked about, junior, and the trade came, and then he kind of got off to a better start after that than he did the initial start and all that. But this is what I'm talking about. What does it mean for him? Absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. But what it does do is it's a boost of confidence for a guy who's turning pro and since being drafted has seen some ups and downs and everything. It just reminds you that you can play this game at a high level and gets you on the right foot coming into Jets training camp.
Another two guys I want to mention here, Chase Yoder and his incredible move there.
Yeah.
That was a huge highlight. Chibrikov comes in, starts to come back from his lower body injury, picks up an assist. Braden Yeager and Elias Solomonson, I thought they played excellent two-way positionally. And they were able to pick up an assist, but that's what those two guys needed to. I don't think there's much pressure on the two of them to go out there and perform. Yeah. I think they're confident guys. And for them just to sort of showcase where they need to be and being at the right spot, I think that's more important for them. Kieran Walton injured against Montreal, and then Jacob Cloutier also sat down with us. He picked up a pair of assists, almost the last pick in the draft last year, but he was able to pick up a few points.
See, and that's important because this is a kid that's miles from even the Moose. Yeah. But to go into something like this and get a couple points. I mean, come on, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the goaltending was fantastic.
Not unbelievable, it's bodes well. Good for him.
Dominic Divicentis and Alex Worthington certainly improved both of their medal over the course of this tournament. So great goaltending for the Winnipeg Jets. Let's come back on the other side. Murat Ates put out an article about Jonathan Toews that's been getting a lot of traction. It's a great piece by Murat, and I kind of look at it. It's an honest piece, and it should be an honest piece. But it's like, what were you expecting? And I want to discuss that when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
And Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Call the Boston Pizza Jets at Noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Boston Pizza, kids eat free all September long at Boston Pizza. Dine in only. See store for details. The number one caller will be awarded a $50 gift card to Boston Pizza on Friday. We're going to talk about Murat Ates's piece about Jonathan Toews in just a moment, but today's also the Monday Reheat, the final Monday Reheat of the offseason.
No more leftovers once the season starts.
No more leftovers once the season starts.
Just going to...
It's all action.
Spend money like an NHL team and get deals every day.
That's right, yeah. So I went back, I go through social media, I go back to Free For All Friday, and I pull comments. And so we'll get to some more of those as the show goes on here, but Big Birdo 79 on TikTok... We were discussing Morgan Barron. And Morgan Barron says Morgan Barron is going to have a great year, 40 points. A 40-point year for Morgan Barron. Morgan Barron's previous career high is 21 points.
He's going to double his point production this year.
I think everybody would be thrilled if Morgan Barron got somewhere close to 30.
If he got 30, I'd be thrilled.
If he had 28, I think everybody would be happy.
If he got 28, I'd be like, gotta go. But if he got 30, I'd be like, wow, that's a great year, Morgan. Good for you.
Now, what if he got 40?
If he got 40, I don't know. Lose my mind. No. Look, I don't... he had a 31-point season in 70 games in 2022-23. No, sorry, he had 21-point season.
Yeah, that's penalty minutes, yeah.
Sorry, that's penalty minutes.
He gets 40 penalty minutes.
I think a really, really good year is 30 points for Morgan Barron.
An incredible year. Probably a benchmark year over his career at 26. We'll be right back with more Jets at Noon. Jets at Noon brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line to win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program, which is coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Boston Pizza, where kids eat free all September long. Conditions apply. We'll get to more reheated takes as the show goes on. But a piece in The Athletic by Murat Ates. The great, I will even say the great Murat Ates.
I will say everyone's friend.
Well, he's just such a nice guy.
Have you ever heard anyone speak badly of...
Not a single person. Yeah. Well, what honestly, What's to say bad about Murat?
I don't know.
I don't have anything bad to say.
I try to.
He's entirely respectful.
Even
his criticism, when warranted, is biting, yet always backed up in the exact right way that it needs to be. He's an exceptional sports journalist.
I even saw him one day. Like, I'm a fan of sweater vests.
Yeah,
So I had in the press box a sweater vest on, and he had on a sweater vest with a tweed jacket and a poor boy reporter newspaper hat, which I rock once in a while. And I'm like, well, look at this. Look who's trying to look like me. And his response was, I could only hope. Like, even when you give him a shot, he's the nicest guy ever, right? Even when you take a poke at him.
So he wrote this article in The Athletic.
Kind of guy you just want to hand fivers to. Hey, go get yourself a coffee. Good guy.
Get yourself a sandwich, a drink. Somebody will take you home after we're done here.
Why don't you go over to that stand over there and buy yourself something nice? The popcorn machine in the press box, it's free.
What's that other one where after Christopher, and we're talking about The Sopranos,
when
Christopher gets made and he goes like, give this guy whatever slice he wants, soft drinks of choice. It's like, wow, this is what being made's all about, right? Soft drinks of choice, pizza, whatever. Like,
who was Meadows' boyfriend who told the story about Vito and the table reaction was Finn? And he told Finn, he goes, go out front. Get yourself a sandwich, soda pop.
Yeah.
Like the kid's 20, he's probably pounding beers.
I'm sorry, T, but how
treats
much?
Him like he's a 12-year-old.
Sorry, T, but how much betrayal can I take? It's like I've been stabbed in the heart. Paulie.
What was the other great line? The guy's like, well, we can't have him in our social club anymore.
Yeah.
Social club? He's got to go.
It's Carlo. Oh, God.
And Tony jumps up. Enough. Not in front of the boy. Here, go get. Gives him like $300 to buy a sandwich. Just keep it. What? There's like $300 here. Before they get too escalated in their conversation, he's like, here, go buy a sandwich.
Any kind you like. Anyway.
Now we all have to buy Murat a sandwich.
Yeah,
that's the point of this
story. That's right. So the article is why Jonathan Taves. The Sopranos is the best, man. That's the best show. It's not even close.
Social club. He's got to go.
Why Jonathan Taves. The article is why Jonathan Taves being rusty in first Winnipeg Jets skates is actually good news. On X, Murat put this out. Jonathan Taves looks rusty, and he doesn't look like an NHL superstar. He does look like he belongs. And a quote from the article, he has a long way to go to prove he can excel as a middle six center, but you can safely scrub washed off your list of expectations. So I think this is such a poignant and well-written piece because this is exactly where you should be, right? I certainly didn't think Jonathan Toews was going to come here and be washed.
I don't think he would come.
No, but everybody needs to sort of lower their expectations a little bit here, right? I mean, when we said, and I put it through AI and we were talking 35 to 45 points is where I believe his total. I think if he gets 45 points this season, Jim, I think that's great. I think that's great. But as with everything, right? We get caught up in the story, the incredible, the guy who went off and had huge success, goes through, wins 3 cups in a distant land, comes back to his hometown after, finding himself and battling through health issues.
Mama, I'm coming home.
That's right. Basically. And comes back to his hometown and carries the team to the promised land, right? It's an incredible story. But right now what it is, it's a story. And the ending hasn't been written yet. We don't know where this is going to go. Should Jets fans be excited? Absolutely. You should totally be excited. I don't want to throw cold water on you. But there needs to be some tempered expectations. And I think most people are there, Jim. I really honestly believe most people are there. Everyone's excited about what Jonathan Toews can do. But I think most Jets fans are tempering expectations here. There's a lot to be excited about. But, hey, let's not think he's going to be leading the scoring race on this team.
Yeah, it's a fair article, but that's what I kind of expected. It's like, so the article also mentions this, and I'm glad they did. He was never a burner. Like, he was never quick of speed and all that.
Yeah.
but his hockey sense of angles and positioning and everything like that. Don't expect 19 points in 25 games out of the gate. But I do think that he can have 40 points.
What do you think the talk is going to be like if he comes out and over the first 20 games he's got 3 goals and 6 points or something like that?
I mean, just what you said. I think some people, if he has a bad 2 or 3 games, I think some people are going to say he looks washed.
Yeah.
And much like the start of the season, they could start 1-7, and I'm still not going to think they're terrible. They could start 7-1, and I'm still not going to think they're world beaters. Mm-hmm. They're not going to have, they're not going to have the start they had last year. It was a record-setting start.
Yeah, don't expect that.
The division is too close, and everything else is too there, and there's too much parity in this league, in this division. They start off tough, like right out of the gate with Dallas and LA. But I think that, let it breathe and let it see where it's at. I know this is interesting because so many athletes try to get another season out of something, right? And they just look absolutely washed and can't keep up. But I said that about Drew Doughty. Drew Doughty went to the Four Nations and said, that's the fastest hockey game I've ever seen. And I said at the time on the show, I agree with him. I thought he looked really slow and had a hard time keeping up. But then as that tournament wore on, he adjusted, right? So that's what I think Taves will do. It's a great article, but it's also nothing surprising. And it's kind of what I expected. Yeah. I think you're right. I think over the past month, most people have said if he can play good, he'll play good, and which they think he was. I don't think anyone's sitting here going 60 points. I don't think anyone's going he's going to be the best defensive center in the league. I don't think anybody's saying he's going to come out and do this, that. Are they a better team with him? And to the degree of which margin, I think you can debate. Is it 1% better or is it 50% better or whatever? But he makes them better. But I don't expect him to come out of the gate and just be a burner, do what he does, and have 5 points in 4 games.
It's much like if he comes out over the first 20 games and he's got 13, 14 points. I'm going to be still in that situation where, hey, he's going to go through a softer spell. I don't believe that is something that, and maybe he'll prove me wrong, and it's something that can be sustained. But I think if he's coming out and he's 8 or 9 or 10 points or something like that over the first 20 games, I think that's probably around where he's going to be.
So, what do you like? Legitimately, my biggest thing I'm looking at is how he keeps up.
Yeah.
I think positionally he's going to be sound. I think the clearing of the zone or the face-offs, he's going to be sound, all this. I'm really, really wondering about the speed. And that's why when we go to training camp, like that's what I try to get to 2 or 3 sessions at training camp. Last year I only got to 2. But like it just, no matter who I take with me or the boys, they're just like how fast it is. And the other thing they talk about, like my 13-year-old last year was 12, was like, I can't believe how, he didn't say this per se, but basically was referencing how tough they are in each other, how they beat the wheels off each other. Like they go in the corner. Yeah. Like Adam Lowry took it to Kyle Connor in the corner during one of the training camp sessions.
I remember that. Yeah.
It just like, I don't care who you are, and hammered him a couple times and knocked him down. And Kyle Connor got up and went at somebody else. And I'm like, yeah, well, this is the National Hockey League. This, you practice how you play. And so that's what I'm kind of wondering about with him, is just when he gets into a game. Dallas is here first. I don't find Dallas a burner team. Yeah. But there's a team coming that I'm going to be like, can he keep up?
He's going to have to adjust. He's going to have to play differently. I mean, and I think, listen, he's coming in here with a lot of, I mean, as you've said, Jim, he's coming in here with a lot of emotional maturity. I don't think Jonathan Toews is. I don't think he's telling himself a bunch of boba mice. I don't think that he's thinking that he's this or he's that. I think he knows exactly where his game's at, and I think he's being. He's
never been a point of game player.
No. I think he's
maybe playoff.
I think there's a lot of humility with Jonathan Toews. Honestly, I think he knows exactly where his game is and what he needs to do. There's still room in the NHL for guys that aren't burner. Like it's not everybody in the NHL is a burner. There's a lot of room for guys that are that play a different style, or they understand different aspects of the game. There's a lot of room on this team for somebody like Jonathan Toews. If your idea is he's going to go out there flying and he's going to get 70, 80 points, I mean, that's not what it's going to be. But he's going to have to adjust, just like every player as their game as they can't do certain things like perhaps they used to be able to
but
do.
Let me ask you this.
They have to change things.
Say there's 17 seconds to go, up by 1, defensive zone faceoff.
Oh.
Who are you putting out there?
Jonathan Toews.
Lowry's not there right now.
Yeah. Even if...
Is it Scheifele? Is it Nemestikov?
No.
Is it Barron if he's playing center?
No, man.
No, you're putting... Doesn't matter how the first game goes. If you're up by 1 or you're tied and there's 17 seconds left and there's a faceoff in your end, right now, I'm tapping 19 to go out there and win that faceoff.
Yeah, because you're...
And that's having not seen him yet, Cam. I haven't been down there to see him.
Yeah, but that's his experience, too, that you're also leaning on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times has he been in that position and in what kind of moments?
And then if he doesn't win the faceoff and the game gets tied, I'm going to say he is washed. But you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly
that could happen, and I'm still not going to say he's washed. There's going to be an adjustment period here once the games are for real.
Mm-hmm.
There really is.
Yeah.
And then I'm always reminded of the Jason Jaffrey. I think he had 6 or 7 games with the Canucks. And when he came back, it was his only taste of the National Hockey League. And he went up a couple times and never got into the lineup. And I said, so what do you think? He goes, what I think is I can't keep up.
Yeah.
Like he goes, now I can still play there because I'll have to, I have to use my angles and all that. But he goes, that is fast. And I just kind of reminds me of, he's like, I still think I can play up there and stuff, but it's all about angles with me. He was laughing. He's like, it's all about angles and positioning because I just don't have the foot speed that that game is being played at. And that's what I kind of think of Jonathan Toews coming in here is, but hey, if there's anybody smart enough to figure out the angles and the foot speed and where to be in the right time to avoid being caught off speed or off guard, it's him.
When he played,
he has that knowledge.
When he played, was there anybody that had the hockey IQ that he had?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he was in, like, I don't think we need to create a list here of the top guys when he was on the ice, but I mean,
there's the Crosbys and for sure Sidney and stuff.
But was he ever an elite scorer? No. Was his two-way game elite? Yes. Was his hockey IQ elite of the elite in the NHL? Absolutely.
Was his pinnacle not the Stanley Cup championships, but the 2010 Olympics when he started as a fourth liner, and by the gold medal game, he was on the top line, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, that's where he scored his first goal of the tournament he opened the scoring, right? I think he had 7 assists leading into that game.
He went from being a solidified... basically Mark Scheifele, if he makes the Olympic team, is going to be on the fourth line, I think. Yeah. He basically went from, like if Scheifele went to the Olympics this year on the fourth line, and by the end of it in the gold medal game was on the number 1 line. That's what Jonathan Toews did in that lineup, Cam. That's how intelligent he is.
Miss your chance. Get your thoughts on the show today. Call the Boston Pizza Jets and Noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Boston Pizza, kids eat free all September long at Boston Pizza. Dine-in only seat store for details. The number 1 caller will be awarded a $50 gift card to Boston Pizza on Friday. Let's take a break. Let's come back. On the other side, we'll give away that VIP car wash, and we'll reheat some takes that we missed from last week. Don't go anywhere. There's some real bangers in here. Some hot takes. And we'll get to those when we come back.
Toth on 680 CJOB.
Well, congratulations to Ed. He's got the VIP text and he's grabbed that VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 690 St. Anne's Road. Ed said, I remember the morning after that big win by Canada all the way back in 1987, Canada Cup. I remember the morning after the big win. Bob Irving called Ducky, of course, that's the nickname of Dale Howardchuk, for an interview. Ducky sounded as rough as a month-old playoff beard.
Could you imagine?
Enjoy your show. Thanks, Ed. I appreciate it.
Could you imagine that celebration after that win? It was in Hamilton, right? Hamilton, or was it? Yeah, I think the arena was the Hamilton Arena. It was played between Hamilton and Toronto or Montreal. I don't know. But I think the gold medal game or that game we're talking about was in the Hamilton Arena.
I think you're right. Jim Toth. I think it was in Hamilton. Let me just, it was in Hamilton. Let's get to some of these.
He sounded rough. I bet he did.
Oh, yeah. Tracy said, hi, Cam and Jim. I have an idea for a rule change related to the winners of the President's Trophies. We reheat some of the takes we missed. The winning of the trophy is essentially meaningless. So what do you think about allowing the winner to have one ballot in the draft lottery? I enjoy listening to your show. Thanks so much. Thanks from Tracy.
An extra draft pick. What do you think?
Or an opportunity to move up in the draft.
So if you win the President's Trophy, You're already picking last.
Yeah. So you have a chance because you can only move up 10 spots, but you'd move up from 32nd to potentially 22nd if you win the draft.
I don't like it because if you finish first overall, you should be picking 32nd.
It's outrageous, yeah.
But I don't mind an extra pick. Like I say, put a fifth round pick on the table or a fourth round, and say if you win the President's Trophy, you get 2 fourth rounders.
Yeah, that's something.
And you could deal it if you wanted.
Yeah, you know what? Everyone's gonna see the banner go up, and that's sort of the value in it. Steve-O says, Taves, in your opinion, what is the minimum he needs to do to have his signing be considered a success? 20 goals, 50 games. Is there a number or something intangible? Are there positives and negatives to a signing? Well, would make it a good get for the Winnipeg Jets. I think you need to think beyond points. Like he needs to produce offensively. But listen, I 45, 50, honestly, like if he hits a number like that, it's a success. But I'm not going to sit here and say Jonathan Toews, who has a great structured contract that goes with how many games he's able to play and all that is sort of how far the Jets go. He's $2 million.
I'm going to say this. He has to play 75 games and play well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put a point total on it. If he can get 70 to 75 games in this year, I think that's a success.
This texter says, this is from Anonymous, most interested in Taves' impact on 55. Of course, that's Mark Scheifele's number. Always thought 55 has a bit more to give. Definitely in awareness, maturity, all that sort of thing. Taves could make 55 a better player just by example. I agree. Don't necessarily agree with some of the labels you're attaching to Mark Scheifele, but I agree that this is a total boon for somebody like Scheifele.
We're going to get into this once the training camp starts and before the regular season, but I think Mark Scheifele is going to have a big year.
Yeah.
I think he's really going to have, to what this texter's referencing, it hasn't been the case the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We're going off the first 6 or 7 years of his career and not giving him credit for how he's well-rounded his game the past 2 seasons and how that's led to a 4th overall and a 1st overall team in the regular season. I have no problem with his play in the playoffs, but I think he's going to have a big year. And big year is the usual point per game, but I think he's going to have a bigger impact on the overall game.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey Fortier, for producing the show. Jim Toth will take you all the way till 2 o'clock. That's it for me. Back same time tomorrow. See ya.